Hey guys, welcome to another episode of LJ's Garage. Behind me is a 2015 Kia Soul. Kia says this thing has both form, function, and fun. So let's take a look and see exactly what that means. Normally, it's a great day to film, but unfortunately, and actually since I love you guys, I'm out here. It is raining. We're in Illinois, so you can tell by the cornfields. There's no tractors out or anything, so we're just gonna focus on the Kia Soul, and we're gonna try to make this work. And yes, I don't know where I'm at. I just found some random overhang and we're gonna film this video. So stay tuned for so much more. So I've always been a fan of dancing hamsters, but that's not the time and place for this right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys a little bit on the outside, hop on the interior and take it for a spin. And we're gonna find out a little bit more about this Kia Soul. So this is the second generation of the Kia Soul, which was introduced in 2013, and this went all the way to 2019 until now when we finally got the newest third generation. You can only get this in 3 trims. The first trim is the base, which is standard across any kind of auto manufacturer. Then the next thing you've got the Plus, which is an actual plus sign, and then the last thing you've got the Exclaim, which is an exclamation mark, but Kia calls it the Exclaim. There aren't many cars that look like the Kia Soul. I've always been a fan and I love this boxy shape. When the Scion first came out with the XB, a lot of people are like, that's a toaster on wheels. This is more of a stylish toaster on wheels. It's kind of like, I don't know, give me something good.
KitchenAid toaster versus Walmart brand toaster.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if Walmart made a generic toaster, but this is like the KitchenAid of toasters. So if the KitchenAid brand decided to do a toaster, this is what it would look like. Stylish, cool. Yeah, I dig it. What I love about the Kia Soul is it has so much personality. They weren't afraid to take some chances. You've got the denim edition, you've got the tiger edition. There's all sorts of cool things. You can get crazy graphics and it's all right because it's a Kia Soul. It's just what is expected. You got different roof colors, kind of like the Mini Cooper. There's so many different ways that you can style this that honestly, that's what makes this thing so much fun. And at the budget bargain price that you could get these at, there's no reason that most families shouldn't consider the Kia Soul. I'm gonna start with the back end. You'll see that Kia's done something really unique. What they've done is they've taken these taillights and they're absolutely massive. If I were to stand right next to it, you'll see that these taillights take up half of my almost my torso. So I don't know, I've never seen a car with taillights this huge that's not a pickup truck or anything like that. If you stand back just a little bit and look at this, I really see a stormtrooper. And I really like how Kia's kind of, you've got this glass that stops here, and then you've got this like paneling, and then you've got another gray colored part. There's so much going on here that I don't know how the engineers and the people who drew this thing up came up with it. It's kind of like they just threw some stuff together and it worked. If you're looking at this, it almost looks like this opens up in 2 pieces, kind of like the BMWs do, but it actually doesn't. So all you do is you just grab back here and it opens up. And for those of you that aren't the tallest, all you got to do is reach right here. So some of the SUVs, they sit so high that you have to jump up and reach to grab this little lever. But if you're a little shorter than I am, you could still grab this pretty easy. So here I am in the back trunk area. So I'm all the way to the far left, or your right, and you can see my arm goes all the way across, so you can kind of use that as a scale. And then if I were to turn and curl, this is about how much space you get inside of this, which is not bad for groceries. And then these seats do fold flat, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. Look, magic. Now the seats are all the way down, and this is pretty much a good bit of cargo space. If you need to transport anything like boxes and move and do all that stuff, you got plenty in here. And plenty of headroom. The cool thing with this cube shape is that you know how much space you're gonna get. You can kind of do all the math pretty easy. You got a rectangle right here. So you can basically just measure it out and then you can find your volume of this area inside of here. And then the one thing that I have to say is that they do actually sacrifice a little bit of cargo space for rear leg room. Oh, whoops, let me edit this. Also, Kia Soul owners have plenty of attitude, so don't mess with them on the road. Whenever Kia decided they wanted to introduce the Soul, they wanted to target the younger demographic of buyers. Interestingly enough, it was actually the older folks that were actually jumping on the Kia Soul bandwagon. They loved the commercials, they loved the hamsters, and they thought this was a cool, fun, sporty, young car. Honestly, at the end of the day, it almost seems like this car was made for bumper stickers. They just fit. So here I am in the back seat. I'm about 5'9". I'm sitting comfortably back here. These are cloth seats and they feel really good. You do get one cup holder here and one cup holder in that door. Otherwise, that's it back here. You don't get fold down middle seat, anything like that, but this seat's 5. Plenty of headroom. I can't stress that enough. But again, if you have a design like this, one of the perks. If you've seen any of the Teslas, you know that Tesla has this really cool, well, I won't use the word cool, I'll take that back. Tesla has these unique style wheels, but Kia actually came up with that concept first, I think. And they've got these different style, unique wheels. On this base model, these are 16s, but you can go all the way up to 18s if you've got the style, the money, and all that stuff. Before we hop into the engine, before we walk over to the engine and start talking about some horsepowers and those cool things, it does come with a gas cap and a gas tank. And if you're curious about the gas mileage, we're talking 23 to 24 miles per gallon in the city and about 29, 30 if you're a good driver on the highway. They went ahead and made this pillar black. And so because it's gloss black, it gives it that floating roof appearance. And that's something that a lot of high-end cars like the Range Rovers do. So think of it as like a baby Range Rover Evoque. Moving to the front end of the Kia Soul, you'll see that everything is kind of similar to the back. There's a lot of things just thrown onto the front of this car, and whatever sticks stays. I like the presence, I like the stance. If you see this coming up behind you, it's kind of cute, so you're really not gonna move anywhere. But then the new Kia Souls are really aggressive and mean, and they have that front end that kind of scares people. I don't really know what happened to the Kia Soul. Maybe, you know, us calling it cute all the time pissed it off and kind of got a little upset. So under the hood, we've got a 1.6 liter inline 4. This motor makes 130 horsepower and 118 foot-pounds of torque. You get 2 transmission options. The first one is a 6-speed manual. The other one is a 6-speed automatic. As I was opening this hood, I realized something. Normally you pop a big hood and you get a big motor and you get big engine bay. This is the tiniest little engine bay on a compact SUV I've ever seen. I could reach across this engine bay just like that. And for working on this, it's actually really, really great because you could kind of pivot at the hips and reach down, grab whatever you need to do, you know, turn some wrenches, do some things. Really easy to work on. This actually leads me to my next point, and it's that Kia has a really, really awesome warranty, and it's 100,000 miles for your powertrain, and then the basic bumper to bumper is about 60,000 miles. That's really hard to beat, and with this brand finally making a comeback and having great things like the Telluride and awesome SUVs,
Stinger.
Oh, and then there's the Stinger and awesome cars. I'm gonna say awesome a lot, but Kia's really finally standing their ground and showing everyone they know how to make cars. So if that doesn't really work for you, then at least you got a warranty. Why didn't you guys tell me that I have water on my pants? Come on guys, you're supposed to be looking out for me. Moving to the interior, as you guys can see, this is what everything kind of looks like from the driver's standpoint. You've got your shifter, you've got your climate control options, and you've got a small little screen here with a couple different features. But realistically, there really isn't much. You do get hands-free calling options, you do get your cruise control settings and all of that good stuff. This button right here is your drive mode. You'll see it says normal, then you can put it in sport, comfort mode. So there are a couple different drive options, and we're gonna just leave it in comfort for a little bit. Right up front, you've got a center little display that shows you your miles per hour, and then to the left, you've got your tach. But really there isn't much. Your range is right there. It's really all you get. Down here you've got some outlets, so pop that cover. And then you got your USB, your aux, which is nice. Then up here you've got your active eco button so you can get that better fuel economy. But realistically, the base model does not have much to it. You don't even get a backup camera. You have to go to the Exclaim model to get cool things like that. On the left-hand side, you've got some blank buttons, but you do get the option to turn traction control off if you're driving in sport mode, as you know, some people do when they like to get a little risque and dangerous. Right in the center console, you do get a little bit of storage. You do get 2 cup holders. Pretty much that is everything for the interior. Manual seats, but everything feels all right. It feels like a normal car would. It's really interesting. Kia also says room on this light right there, and that's just for your interior lights instead of saying nothing. This one just says on, literally just on. So let's talk about what it's like to actually drive this. And before I get started, it's starting to get a little bit dark outside. It's storming outside, so bear with me. Sorry if I disappear.
Yeah.
All right. So in my short little drive with this thing so far, I've got to say, when people say that it's fun, I think they just mean that they really like the personality of the car. I don't really think it's a blast to drive in that sense. There isn't much horsepower here. I could probably beat this thing in a foot race, but it's solid, you know? In sport mode, it meows and purrs and gets up. It's almost like it's doing a lot of things. It's comfortable. That's the biggest thing I gotta say. Some people I've heard say that it's a little firm, but it all depends what you're coming from. For me, from sports cars, this is actually really, really comfortable, a lot more comfortable than the Corvettes and stuff like that. If you're coming from a high-end BMW 7 Series, then yeah, this is probably pretty firm and aggressive for your tush. Since this is a front-wheel drive car, you kind of expect front-wheel drive behaviors, which isn't to say that that's a bad thing. It just handles great in certain situations, and in other situations, it really feels like a regular old car. I got it in sport mode and it's rainy and everything feels fine. I'm gonna put it back in comfort mode. I really can't tell the differences between the drive modes, so I'll say that much. I'm not sure what Kia has going on and why you can't tell, but there isn't too much to it, not much changes. A couple points that I want to actually like hit on the head is that this has so much space in here. It feels very roomy, and if you're on the taller side, you know, unfortunately I'm not, but if you are and you're in the 6-foot category, you can actually get in here and feel really good. The headroom is just like ridiculous. Everything feels good. The interior quality is solid. There's not much to complain about. That's the great thing with this car, is it gets things done. There's not a whole lot to complain about. You're gonna be all right, you're gonna be content. Thank you guys so much for checking out yet another video in LJ's Garage. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you're a returning subscriber, be sure to leave a comment down below as to what your favorite compact SUV is, and don't be afraid to drop a little like button, click right there.